Hey everybody, hope this video finds you happy and healthy. Today's video is going to be a little bit different. Instead of shoeing a horse from beginning to end, I'm going to be fixing this shoe on this horse. This horse pulled his shoe. You'll notice that there's only 3 nails on one side. The other side, all the nails are gone. And in the process of pulling his shoe, he took a big chunk of hoof off with it. So in this video, I'm going to be showing you guys how I get this shoe put back on, how I fill the void with some epoxy so he can go about doing his thing and quit pulling his shoe off. So kind of the backstory on this situation. So I put shoes on this horse originally. I've been shoeing him for probably a year and a half or so. But I put shoes on him about 3 weeks ago. And about a week and a half into that, the owner called me and said he had pulled his shoe and pulled a big chunk off. So I went, fixed it, basically did exactly what I'm doing today. But unfortunately, I didn't bring my camera with me. And so I told the owner, I said, I'm kind of bummed that I didn't bring my camera, but that's all right. We're getting your horse taken care of. About a week after that, so 3 weeks from the original shoeing, she called me again and said, hey, bring your camera this time. He pulled his shoe again. And I honestly don't know how he was able to pull his shoe again, because I made it pretty pull-proof, or at least I thought I did, but apparently not, because here we are. And you'll notice I'm not taking a whole lot of foot off. I'm just using my rasp and leveling up the foot. And what I'm doing right there in that chip with my rasp, you'd think like, what are you digging at it for? You don't want it to be any bigger than it is. But what I'm doing is I got to get a clean surface there, because if there's dirt and manure and stuff, the epoxy that I'm going to be using will just stick to that and it won't actually bond to the hoof. And so I got to get down to clean, fresh hoof. And so that's why I'm taking my rasp and running it up in that crack. And that's exactly what I'm doing right there. Going in each little crevice with my rasp and trying to get good fresh horn so that epoxy can stick to it. So what you saw me just pour on that foot is called denatured alcohol. And what that does is, in that area that I poured it on is right where I'm going to put that epoxy. And what that does is gets all the oils and the moisture out of that area, and that'll help the epoxy stick a lot better. That's something a farrier friend of mine showed me not long ago, and I tend to like it. You saw me just before that, I ground on the shoe a little bit, and for the same reason I was rasping on the foot in the crack. Basically, I was grinding all the dirt and grime off of the shoe, so then that epoxy will be able to stick to that shoe real good. Just trying to get that epoxy to stay in place. At this point, you're probably looking at my shoe and thinking, I've never seen a shoe with 2 random nail holes in the toe, and that's because they don't come like that. The last time I got this shoe set up for this horse, I didn't think I was going to be able to get any nails where the big chip is, and so I punched those 2 nail holes and didn't end up using them because I was able to get some nails on that side right there where I'm putting nails. But this time you could say maybe this horse got under my skin a little bit, and I'm going to put as many nails in this shoe as I can, which kind of goes against all my rules, but I guess rules are meant to be broken. Usually I don't try to put as many nails as I can, but after 2 times of pulling the shoe, I went a little crazy, I guess. So those of you guys that watch my previous videos know that besides being a horseshoer, I'm also a vet student. So I thought I'd take this time while I'm getting this horse's foot finished up to give you guys kind of an update on where I'm at in vet school. You guys know I'm in my last year, which is where we do all of our clinical rotations. Each of them is 2 weeks. So 2 weeks ago, I was on a rotation what's called internal medicine. And then the last 2 weeks, I was on neurology. In my next 2 weeks, I was able to get a hold of a guy that's a farrier and also a veterinarian in Kentucky, and I'll be going with him for 2 weeks, and we'll be actually going down to Florida and doing some work down there, and then working the rest of the time around Kentucky. So I'm pretty excited about that. Hopefully I'll be able to share some pictures with you guys. If you want to see that stuff, give me a follow on Instagram and Facebook. I'll try to get some pictures shared so you guys can come along for the ride. Okay, back to what we're doing here. You can see this horse is kind of being pretty ornery. That's kind of his specialty. He's a young thoroughbred, off the track thoroughbred, and so he's got plenty of energy. And on the topic of thoroughbred, that's probably why this chip happened. Normally the idea when a horse pulls its shoe, I want my clinches to come undone and the shoe to pull off. This is kind of the worst thing that can happen, is that my nails hold on too tight, and then the hoof is weak enough to where it pulls a big chunk off of hoof. With him being a thoroughbred kind of have challenging feet, not good horn quality, and so that's probably what happened here. I'll blame it on that, so I don't have to blame it on my nailing and finishing clinching job. So you'll notice a second ago I purged a little bit of the epoxy into that bag. That's an important step to make sure it's mixing good before you get started, and then just come over and once you do that, you got to go kind of quick, because in the mixing tube it's already starting to set up, so you got to make sure you're moving quick, and then just go real slow, and start at the bottom and just start building it up, and it'll kind of set up. It sets up pretty quick. I guess that's where it gets its name. It's called super fast in this brand. There's lots of other brands of the same stuff that have different names, but this one's called super fast. Yeah, so I just built it up, and then I'll take with my rasp right here and smooth it up and make it pretty similar to the angle of the hoof wall and stuff. There he is being ornery again, but he'll settle down here. Again, this epoxy really isn't gluing the shoe on. It's not really. There's other products that are better glues. This is really a placeholder, basically, because this horse, you'll notice on the shoe I have a medial support on it, and so I gotta fit him full on his medial side, just with his, to help out his conformation. And so to do that, there's gonna be a lot of shoe sticking out there, and he'll just go ahead and pull that shoe off, like he's already proved that he does. Anyway, and so that's basically why I'm using this. If this was on the lateral side, on the other side of the foot, I would be tempted just to leave it open, because he's not going to step it off and it'll just grow on out, and I was able to get some good nails in there. But because it's on the medial side, I had to fill it in. I will have you guys know that he does keep this shoe on the rest of his shoeing cycle. With my busy schedule, it took me a little bit to get this video out to you guys, and he came due for his shoes to get done again, and his foot trimmed up real nice. Most of that chip trimmed out, and I was able to get him shot again. And the very last picture I show you at the end of this video is his new shoes on him, so you could see that. Here's just the finished product here. I appreciate you guys taking the time to watch these videos. Hope you're able to get something out of that. If you have any questions, let me know down in the comments. And with that, be kind to those around you, make the world a better place, and we'll catch you at the next one.